Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much for joining us, your virtual community, this evening. Welcome home. Please join in turning to page 126 in our Siddur. If you do not have a physical copy, please find a virtual PDF version on our website's live stream or virtual page. Using a split screen or additional device, you are invited to follow along. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. The source needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love the source is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love the source is to love the world the source created, and to work to perfect it. To love the source is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us, and to bring that vision to life. Turning to the middle of page 128, we celebrate the delight and awe we hold for our Creator. Yedid nefesh avrachman, Yedid nefesh avrachman, mishochav decha, el ritzonecha, mishochav decha, yelai lai 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 el ritzonecha. Continuing together on the bottom of page 129, we sing for the source to appear in our midst this Shabbat. Eilech hamda libi, Hosanna v'anati talem. Eilech hamda libi, Hosanna v'anati talem. Eilech hamda libi, Hosanna v'anati talem. תתעלם, אלך עמדה ליבי, חוסנה ואנה תתעלם. Turning together to page 138, we continue with Lecha Dodi, singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. It is our tradition to stand for the 9th and final verse, to warmly invite the Sabbath into our midst. Lecha Dodi lekrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi lekrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi lekrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi lekrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'sachor b'dibur echad, hishmi'anu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad, l'shemu tiferet v'letila. Lecha Dodi lekrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi lekrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha, ki hi mekor ha'beracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoruri, ki va'orechu mi ori, uri shir daberi, kivod anayach nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ahater el bala, gam b'simcha uvotzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Looking to page 140, we rejoice in the source's love and faithfulness with voice and lyre and harp, singing the texts of Psalm 92, 1 through 7. Mizmor shir liyom hashabbat, tov lechodod l'Adonai, uzamer l'shemcha elyon, uzamer l'shemcha elyon. Mizmor shir liyom hashabbat, tov lechodod l'Adonai, uzamer l'shemcha elyon, uzamer l'shemcha elyon. Lehagid baboker chastecha, ve'emunatcha baliלות. Shabbat, Tov lekodot la'Adonai, ulizamer l'shemcha elyon, ulizamer l'shemcha elyon. Ki simchtani Adonai b'fo'olecha, b'ma'aseh yadecha ranein. Mogadlu ma'asecha Adonai, me'od amkumach shivotecha. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, Tov lekodot le'Adonai, ulizamer l'shemcha elyon, ulizamer l'shemcha elyon, ulizamer l'shemcha elyon, elyon. Turning to page 142, we prepare to thank and celebrate the angels who guide and protect us. As we celebrate the joy and privilege we share as a community this Shabbat, we are very aware of the loss and devastation COVID-19 has had and will continue to have on this country. We take the opportunity to read the names of essential workers who are angels in our midst. We are honoring nurses Marie Delaparte, Christina Dubois, Teresa Eggers, Jay Montier, Cindy Pomerantz, Helen Powers, Joni Savago, Lucinda Siegel, Christina Snell, Ben Wilder, and Elisa Williams. These doctors, Amy Caguila, Joe Cohen, Elliot Dresnick, Ilan Haley, Steve Kaplan, Liz Levine, Aaron Daniel Levitt, L. Levitt, Noah Alexander Levitt, Richard Levy, Hannah Bittenberg, Stephen Schwartz, Andrew Yanofsky. These healthcare workers, Yisrael Aga, Dara Clausen, Joseph Schwendeman, Amy Skorka, Jaron Widom. These first responders are firefighters and law enforcement professionals. Ryan Coletti, Mark Donchek, Steve Fleischer, Don Hughes, Karen Leader, Abe Markowitz, Anthony Schleuderer, Russell Seymour. Education professionals, Molly Levine Hunt, Jim Hunt, Tammy Logan, Sue Worthman, Karen Zrayek. Grocery staff, Jill Smith and Mike Becker. Technicians, mechanics, and maintenance, Mike Brewer, Brian Lestrange. We are sending our hearts out to you. May you arrive in peace. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitrem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Continuing on to page 144. Yitkadav Yitkadash Shmei Rabbah Be'alma Divrach Hirute V'yamlich Mahute B'chayichon Uvyomechon Uvchayedecho Beit Yisrael Bagala Bagala Uvizman Kariv Ve'imru Amen Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'alam Ulal Me'almaya Yitbarach Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shmei D'Kudesha Berichu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Da'amiran Be'alma Ve'imru Amen. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the presence. Turning to page 146, as we call one another for formal worship, we face Jerusalem with a hope for healing, for comfort. Lai, 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 ya, lai, lai, ya, lai, lai, ya, lai, 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 Baruch Hu, et Adonai, lai, 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 Hamevorach, lai, 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 Baruch Adonai, Hamevorach, leolam vaed, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, lai, yai, lai. Please join me on the bottom of page 149. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my sister, my brother, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it, we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Aravi. Our Shema is flanked by two prayers of ahava, of love. First, the love that we receive, ahavat olam, and then the love we share, ve'ahavta. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha avta, Amcha avta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbenu, uvkumenu nasiach behukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negei oman v'layla, negei oman v'layla, ve'ahavat chal tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch ata Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael, ohev amo Yisrael. Page 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto le'olam va'ed. 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 Lai lai, lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai. Julius Lester reminds us that Judaism is a doing which can be grasped by only the heart. Page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'debarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shoch becha uv'kumecha ukshartam lehot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Page 159. Sing the song of people joined in understanding and respect, the song of Hashchina's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravaged by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. We sing that song of peace together on the facing page. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei fele, nora tehilot osei fele. Malechutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei al yam livnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'elianu ve'amru, ze'elianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Lai, 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 lai. 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 Continuing on to 160, we ask the source, grant us that peace. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, ve'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, ve'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Uvros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ushmor tziteinu uvoinu. Uvros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ushmor tziteinu uvoinu. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, lehamidenu shomreinu l'chaim, vehamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Turning to 161, 162, we rejoice in the vitality and centering that Shabbat provides us. Amru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidortam berit olam beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidortam berit olam ki sheshet yamin asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidortam berit olam uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidortam berit olam. $165. In an envelope marked personal, God addressed me a letter. In an envelope marked personal, I have given my answer. We look to the facing page as we face Jerusalem in preparation to pray the Amidah. The Amidah will continue in whispered prayer through page 180. יהיו לרצון אמרי פיו והגיון לבי לפניך. אדוני צורי of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. Yehiu l'ratzon imri fiv hagion lebi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri legoli. Adonai tzuri vegoli. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Page 371. We now have the opportunity to open our hearts further to those in need of healing in our community. On this Shabbat, we extend our prayers of healing to Kyle Rothgeb, Barbara Salberg, Shirley Schneider, Deborah Sears, Phil Sears, Michelle Simon, Charles Slutsky, Ronald Sonnenstein, Elaine Trott, Mark Trott, Kay Walsh, Ben Wilder, Mac Williams, Scott Zimbler, Abel Ben Rachel V'David, Craig Albeli, Susan Bosch, Anna Cohen Klein, Tyler Corvin, John Gautier, Jeff Gold, Stephen Guttermid, Levi Skolnick, Robin Stone, Judy Jacobs, Ellen Vogelov. Continued healing for Todd Albeli, Tommy Anderson, Deborah Brenner, Michael Corvin, Steve Fine, Cheryl Fitzsimmons, Francine Glasser, Mark Greenberg, Marcia Hamburg, Danny Joseph, Heather K. Dar, Marty Cantor, Anita Cantor, Heather Kitay, Jill Levy Corley, Charles Lipman, David Mallon, Danielle Mass, Sandy Mell, Anne Murkoff, Marshall Nadan, Catherine Nicholson, Neva Nutzi, Steve Perlmutter, Antoinette Phelan, Lillian Rich Schuster, Dave Rosenthal, Evelyn Rosenthal. Sheberach avotenu mikor habracha limotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. In this week's portion, we arrive at a moment where we are not only studying the Torah itself. The portion transforms into prayer, transposing our study into singing praise. It contains the prayer expression of our souls and one of the most important prayers in our life, the Shema. It is found in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. This is one of the first prayers we teach to our children. The first we say in the morning and when we lie down to sleep. The prayer we have on our lips as we pass, our affirmation of faith. As we study, it is a vital practice to look where we have come from, to know where we are, to know where we are going. Just 2 evenings ago, when we sat on Tisha B'Av, we reflected on our brokenness as individuals and as a community. This evening, we arrive at Shabbat Nachamu, the Shabbat of comfort, of comforting, named from this week's Haftorah, found in the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verses 1 through 26. But how have we arrived here from brokenness and reflection to comfort? How are we able to find the comfort of hope that is so needed for this broken world on this Shabbat Nachamu? To be Jewish in your heart is beautiful, but it cannot end there. As Jews, we find hope and we find comfort through meaningful change, through reflective action, and through doing what at times may make us feel most vulnerable. The Shema presented in this portion calls us to that action, surrendering to the unity of the source. As we move from a space of study to song, I grew curious about the origins of the Shema we chant today. We know exactly where our text has been drawn from, but how have we arrived at the melody we come home to each day, each Shabbat? In Cantor Ellen Sussman's article, Musical Settings, Shema, she discusses some of the more Western developments of our prayer. We will explore her examples. A Hazan and composer who had an immense impact on what we hear and we pray today was Solomon Sulzer, who lived from 1804 through 1890 in Vienna, Austria. He is recognized by many as the father of the modern cantorate. Sulzer lived during the tail end of the European Enlightenment, or the Age of Reason, a cultural and intellectual movement where people chose science and reason over blind faith and superstition. During this time, religious tolerance spread throughout Europe and the Americas. Many see this turning point in Western civilization as a transition from darkness to light, maybe from brokenness to comfort. Hazan Sulzer was called to the Austrian capital as chief cantor in 1826. During this time, Vienna was seen as the European capital for classical music. He was interested in reforming prayers from melismatic passages, which are many notes sung on a single syllable, to melodies and forms that more fit with the compositions of his time and his place. He was said to have been admired by Schubert and Liszt, and it was easy to hear their influence on his music. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Does that sound slightly familiar? This would have been performed with a large choir in a great cathedral-like synagogue. Musicologists believe that Shema has been developed into the Shema we are accustomed to, that is sung all over the world. It developed through passing of the oral tradition, similar to a game of telephone. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Yes, that feels like home. This next setting of the Shema is taken from Isidor Fried's composition titled Hasidic Service, written in 1954. He drew the melody from the Idelson Anthology of Hasidic Music, setting it for choir and cantor. Unfortunately, I can't have our lovely Zemmer here tonight, so imagine the responses in 4-part harmony. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod, Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Fried lived from 1900 through 1960, immigrating from what is now Brest, Belarus, to the United States as a child, settling with his family in Philadelphia. He was an accomplished academic, educator, and composer holding positions at Temple University, Hart School of Music, and the Hebrew Union School of Sacred Music. His beautiful setting highlights the sense of joy and transcendence that I think we all feel while praying the Shema. This evening's final setting of the Shema is that of acclaimed American composer many of us are familiar with, Debbie Friedman, who lived from 1951 through 2011. If you were not aware, she is the composer of many pieces used in our services, tonight being Ahavat Olam, Micha Mocha, and Ar Mishaberach. Debbie Friedman's music is sung around the world, spanning services from Orthodox to Reform. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam, Le'olam Va'ed. Friedman was one of the first to utilize the folk style with Jewish prayers and texts, and her simple setting of the Shema allows us to focus on the true meaning of each word of this prayer. Although, for now, the Shema may not be reverberating within the halls of enormous synagogues as in the times of Hazan Sulzer, we can find comfort in that our Judaism can maintain its resonance as an instrument for change. All we must do is act. As our Judaism is transformative, it has the mystical and practical quality of its own transformation, shaping into what is needed as individuals and as a community. Whether we pray in our chapel, in the sanctuary, or in our living rooms, aside our pets and our loved ones, our commitment to doing, paired with the melodies we hold fast, have the power to elevate our spirits, affirm our past, and shine a breathtaking light on what could be our future. We have come to the time for some announcements for this week. Classes with Rabbi, Chai with Rabbi, meditation and Torah study Hebrew trope, and conversational Hebrew will resume this Tuesday. Tu B'Av, Tuesday, August 4th at 7 p.m. on Zoom, our congregation will come together virtually for the celebration of an evening of love and of sharing. Next Friday, August 7th, gather your young children for Tot Shabbat via this live stream at 5:30. Family Shabbat service begins at 6 p.m. Send your family, friends, and your community some sweetness with Sisterhood's annual honey fundraiser for the high holidays. Friday, August 21st, the confirmands and their families invite you to join them for the blowing of the shofar at 7:25, followed by confirmation service via live stream. Social Action invites you to join them via Zoom for an interview with Dr. Paul Bermanzon, board member of the A.J. Williams Myers African Roots Center in Kingston. He will be going deeply into the history behind the movie 13th on Sunday, August 30th from 7 to 8 p.m. Watch this documentary exposing the history following America's passage of the 13th Amendment. You can find it on Netflix or for free on YouTube. If you know an essential worker, we can honor them by adding their names to the list we read each week. Please call or email us with their name and occupation. Our high holiday schedule and Yizkor memorial cards have been mailed. Yizkor remembrances can also be entered on our website. If you would like to have a loved one remembered in the Book of Life or with a memorial tablet, please contact Conrad Heisman or the main office. Our building remains closed, but we are available by phone or email, so please reach out. If you want details on our events or to sign up for a Zoom class or our weekly email, you can find it all on our website for Congregation Emmanuel of the Hudson Valley. We face Jerusalem one last time this evening for the Aleinu on page 587. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tet gedula liotzer bereshit, shehu sam chelkenu liached et shemo, v'gor aleinu lehamlich malchuto, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech Mochei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Continuing on 591. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shmo echad. Page 593. The light of life is a finite flame, like the Shabbat candles. Life is kindled, it burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and with beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our lives are full, but as night follows day, the candle of our life burns down and gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more, and we are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives, we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and of life. We are with those members of our congregation who are in their Shana, their year of mourning. May the memory of your loved ones be for a blessing. Ash Nikki, remembered by Farrell Brenner and Kara Levine. Bernice Pincus, remembered by Randy Zinn, Marquise Stillwell, and family. Sarah Swan Miller, remembered by Marty Miller. Marianne and Frank Lestrange, remembered by Carmel and Jeff Gold. Harriet and Kelly, remembered by Ruth and Connie Heisman. Sydney Levine, remembered by Adele and Michael Corvin. Arnold Lieberman, remembered by Evelyn and Dave Rosenthal. Selma Gold, remembered by Carmel and Jeff Gold. Lester Polliner, remembered by Lindsay Stern and Tom DeLuza. Bonnie Perlmutter, remembered by the Perlmutter family. Ted Baker, remembered by Alicia Baker Seymour and Russell Seymour. Lily Singer, remembered by the Singer family. Evelyn Emerson, remembered by Lindsay Stern and Tom DeLuza and family. Joan Plotsky, remembered by the Plotsky family. Leonard Feldman, remembered by Marvin Feldman. Bernard Solomon, remembered by Bob and Pat Brackman and family. Ronald B. Newsom, remembered by Celeste Woodham and family. Joan Audrey Rose, remembered by Lauren Rose and Daniel Rose Levine. Jane Rosen, remembered by Michelle and Barry Entner. Toby Eisman, remembered by Michael and Steve Eisman and family. Harriet Levine Cement, remembered by Kara Levine and Farrell Brenner. So do we too weave in the memory of the loved ones of our community who have died in seasons past. Our hearts join with yours in remembering the art sites. For Lillian Amper, Frank Krohn, Nathan Eisenstadt, Irving Gold, Shirley Goldstein, Stanley Halperin, Minnie Kramer, Nat Mass, Jacob Mell, Samuel Stern, Ida Wolf. Page 198. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivorach le'olam ul almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal, shmei d'kudeshah berechu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. O se shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol b'nei Adam, v'imru amen. We will close our evening with Nachamu, the text from this week's Haftorah, set to song by Ilana Arian. Nachamu, Nachamu ami yomar Elohechem. Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle to take care of one another. Comfort us in this wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle with this world. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami Yomar Elohechem. 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 Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle to take care of one another. Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle in this world. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami Yomar Elohechem. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami Yomar Elohechem. Ma yafeh hayom, ma yafeh hayom, ma yafeh hayom, ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Please join me for our Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. L'chaim. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to the source for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat Shalom.